An excerpt from the Journal of Sl'gath, Nagan researcher, a video entry. The screen lights up, showing the snake-like face of Sl'gath, brilliant shimmering green scales with purple markings running from just below his golden slitted eyes up and around the back of his head. Behind him lay several stacks of papers, files, books, and a few datapads. He takes in a deep breath and exhales slowly before his deep, rumbling voice makes itself known. Cycle 2 of the preparations of war between the Vitherians, Rhuniks, and the challenged Terrans has come and gone. The Terran diplomat invited me to observe their work. As a behavioral researcher, this was an opportunity I could not turn down. I think he was able to sense my excitement, as he smiled and chuckled, I think he called it, before I could answer. The command bridge of their ship was more than large enough for me to coil into a corner comfortably and observe as they worked. The Terrans had been given unfettered access to the list of uninhabited planets fit for proxy wars among the species of the galaxy. Interestingly enough, they all went about their work as though I did not even exist. I watched as the scientists categorized the planets by various degrees of deathworld, then further into categories such as desert, frozen, snowball, paradise, and many others. Each entry was given information about the local flora and fauna. Unfortunately, I was made to promise to not disclose the 3 which they chose, but I can say that they were confident in the selection, but they may be making a huge mistake with each one. At this point, Sl'gath opens his mouth wide, inhaling deeply into a yawn, revealing a white mouth interior, a pair of massive hollow fangs, and a pink forked tongue. Reaching just off camera, he brings a container into view, pouring some water into his mouth and swallowing. Turning back to the camera, he continues. I have no idea how much time had passed before the diplomat offered me something they call lunch. Of course I obliged, following him to an area known as the canteen. Along the way, I decided to ask a few personal questions. I have been told that he is called Martin and only has 2 male offspring, who he called Matthias and Winston. He is among the majority of Terrans who mate for life, and his mate lives on their homeworld, Earth. He has been able to trace his own lineage to an ancient great politician called Theodore Roosevelt, who is apparently still held in very high regards. It was this ancient ancestor that inspired him to apply to be the diplomat for their first official contact. He is very well spoken, yet not anywhere near as threatening as he seemed towards his challengers 2 cycles ago. Personally, I found him quite amiable, kind, and I believe the phrase is laid back. He has the innate respect of all on his ship, Terran or otherwise. Respect, not fear. That is very odd for a high-ranking leader of a deathworld species. We spoke more over lunch, which was simply a mid-cycle meal. I allowed Martin to inquire into whatever he wanted to know. He only wanted to know more about my work, and myself as an individual. I happily answered anything he asked, and was quite surprised when he offered help with my behavioral research of their species, stating that I would need all the help I could get. Once we finished our meal, he brought me to a different area of the ship, the comms center. I was permitted to sit in on their meeting with a group of Terrans known as Geneva, as they discussed the rules of combat that would be put forth. Once again, I was made to promise to keep silent on this, but I can say that I was completely shocked by the rules that were put forth. This is not how combat has ever been conducted in the history of proxy wars. This is just so much to take in. The meeting amongst the leaders will be broadcast live to the galaxy, which is a first. Things like this have never been publicized. Only the winners and the aftermath have ever been made known. Something about the Terrans have enamored the citizens of the galaxy, and an overwhelming majority has called for the entire process to be made public, which the Council has had no choice but to do so. As intimidated as the Rhunic and Vitherian diplomats were, I am looking forward to seeing their reactions to what these hairless apes put forth for this conflict. I will be in the Kusil's chamber to witness history being made in person, and I can't help but to feel honored. For now, I must get some rest. This next cycle will be full of excitement, and I must be ready for it. The Nagan reaches towards the camera before the recording ends, the last frame showing an almost giddy smile making its way across his face.